EP.38.
What's good, YouTube? What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Pick Six Podcast. I'm your guy, Musa. I got Mike and Pesa here with me today. How y'all doing?
Doing good. How about y'all?
What's good? What's good, everybody?
Doing great. It's been a minute since we had a Pick Six show.
I know. I'm back. I'm here, man. I'm here. Everybody subscribe to the channel, man. Like the channel, man. Y'all know what time
we're
it
two
is.
subs away. 2 subs away from 200, man.
Two subs. Let's get there. Let's get there. 2 quick subs, man. Tell your friend to tell a friend. Tell your moms. Tell your pops. Anybody who watch sports, man. Subscribe to the channel.
Yes,
or
sir.
wrestling.
Yeah, so we got a star-studded weekend for you guys from the Grade A show. We got, obviously, today we got the football Pick Six. Tomorrow we got the basketball at 12:15. And then Sunday we're going to run it off with the Grade A wrestling podcast. So keep that noti bell on, man. We got a lot of dope content coming your way this weekend. Today we got our first official Pick Six mock draft. We're going to just do the first round. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about some of the recent transactions that's been going on in the NFL in the offseason. As you see in the headline, Deebo has been traded to the Washington Commanders.
We got breaking news.
We got more breaking news?
Breaking news.
Hold on, Mike. Hold on. Put you on the solo. What's the breaking news?
Geno Smith has been traded to the Raiders.
Wow.
Wow. You heard me at first.
Yeah,
I think first on the Pick Six show, man.
I think if I get
that channel.
If I get Oakland's pick, I'm definitely gonna go with who I think I was gonna originally go with there anyway.
So that changes everything for how we gonna do this draft.
And this mock draft, I might have to make my trade and go get that piece since they got Geno over there now. I think that was a good move for Oakland.
Oh man, so I guess we might as well start with there. So, Mike, do you have the exact details for that trade?
No, but hold on. Let me click on it. I just got the update on my phone. Let me see if they provide any context with it.
So I got it right here. Geno was traded to the Raiders. Seahawks get a 3rd-round pick.
It's a good deal for the Raiders, I think.
I agree.
For the Raiders. What are we talking about here? Congratulations,
now,
Raiders.
So let's talk about it real quick because I'm gonna look at the draft order, and I believe Seattle does it. Pick
Seattle, we got picking at 18 in the first round.
Yeah, you think they go Jackson Dart?
No, I really don't think any of these guys will be taken in the first round other than the top two consensus guys.
Because they're gonna have to get a quarterback now, unless they're making room for Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson return.
That Metcalf trade might have a quarterback included. We got to remember that too.
Mm-hmm. I'm wearing the hoodie for today because it's draft time. Who's to say we don't get DK and they give up Joe Milton to Seattle?
What you trading your pick? You trying to trade your pick? You want the pass pick? What you doing with that?
Oh no, hell no. We're keeping that for a pick. You gotta kiss my ass. Hell no. Excuse my language. We are a PG but entertainment show. So
hey Musa.
It's still PG hours.
No, I'm just kidding. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, no comment. But nonetheless, though, who's to say that Seattle doesn't trade DK to New England, and New England gives up Joe Milton and probably a 4th or 5th maybe for that trade? That's an option possibly. But I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts on what Seattle might do because we kind of touched on it a little bit, but I'll let you guys take the floor.
Yeah, I don't know personally. If I'm the Patriots, I'm not gonna lie. I'd see what I can get for Drake May. Like, I know people talk about trading Milton, but I just think if Milton's really fixed the accuracy issues, I think has way more of a ceiling than May does personally. But
so real quick, why do you believe Drake May has the Drake May has a smaller upside opposed to Joe Milton.
Well, first off, look at the arm strength of the kid. On top of it, he's a physical specimen. He's got mobility. He's got a cannon of an arm. Is the only thing that was not going for him in college was the accuracy. It's what ended up getting him losing his starting job at Michigan, losing his job at Tennessee to Hooker. But then it sort of got better towards the senior season, but not anywhere near NFL standards. But if you got that fixed, I'm telling you, he has much more potential than me. Because we see the fumbling issues, that supposedly comes from him having small hands. So his hands aren't going to grow. And then the interceptions, and to be honest, he only got one win last year. I know that we can say the coaching staff, the roster, a million things that factor into it. But I just think if Milton has that fixed, I think just the upside is just so much more than a guy like Drake personally. Because if he keeps going this way, I see him just going into the same boat as a Will Levis or a Daniel Jones.
Interesting. Hey, so any thoughts on the move for Seattle and what it looks like for them in the future? Or if you have any thoughts on what the Raiders are doing with this move?
Right now, I ain't got nothing projection. No projection for Seattle. They just got rid of their best piece on their team, Geno Smith, their quarterback of their team, that really did his thing the last couple of years there, to be honest with you. Oakland definitely came up. I don't have no projection for Seattle right now. I think they're going to tank. I think they're going to screw in the draft. But ain't no future for them right now. Because what else is there? DK Metcalf is in free agency now. So they clean the house.
Just JSN.
JSN, receiver number one. I love what they have on defense with the pieces. They still got Kenneth Walker. The O-line's mid solid, I guess, for what it's worth. But I think if they get just like a plug-in piece at quarterback for this season, they maybe look to try to get an Archie or a Nico in an upcoming draft in 2026. So that might be the move, like a 1 year kind of down year to kind of retool, because they got pieces on the defense, as I mentioned. They got some decent pieces on offense. They did release Tyler Lockett as well. So DK wants a contract extension. He's still under contract. So most likely he's going to get moved. So a lot of names probably going to get moved. But all in all, I kind of agree. I don't know what direction it looks like they're going in. It looks like the Rams might be the favorites in that division, or the Cardinals, as at the moment, considering the moves that San Fran has been making as well. So it's up for grab. It's up in the air. But as far as the Raiders go, Brock Bowers, you got a plug-in piece at quarterback now. I still think they might even get a quarterback still and just use Geno as the plug-in piece to sit the quarterback they probably can get at 6, if that becomes the option for the Raiders. You still got Jacoby Myers. You got some pieces on offense. You just read up Max Crosby. So he's signed and sealed for at least the next 2-3 years. But they're in the AFC West. So I don't know how much that's going to really hold weight for them, considering they had to go against the Chargers, who will be better. The Broncos will be better. And you got the Chiefs, who aren't going anywhere anytime soon, as long as they got 15 in the backfield. So that's my take on that. We're going to move right along, unless anyone else has some final thoughts on the trade.
Oh, no. The only thing I'd add in is I believe Jacoby Myers is going to be a free agent, too. So I don't know if they'll have him next year, but
here's the thing. I think with Oakland definitely came up on this move. So now I think that really shakes things up in the draft. And like I said before we came on the show, I think that more justifies why, if I do get the 4th pick and I'm going with Oakland, now that we have Geno Smith, that reassures the pick that I originally had going there was definitely a good move. They had this in place.
Some more breaking news. Of course, something that before I get to that one thing we haven't mentioned, of course, with Geno going back to Las Vegas, I wish they were still in Oakland, but they're in Vegas. He reunites with Pete Carroll, obviously, when he had his first Magic season was with Pete. And it's already been rumored that Seattle is targeting Sam Darnold right now. Why not? He can do his little dance like he did in Minnesota. You don't like Sam Darnold in Seattle?
I guess that's the future. That's the move that they making after getting rid of Geno, if they think that's what's better. But I'll tell you this, ain't nobody going to be paying attention to Seattle no more.
That means if Seattle does happen to get Sam Darnold, JJ McCarthy is going to be the starting quarterback for the Vikings. Clips is
I
going to
don't-
get his wish.
I don't
Clips
believe
is going to
that.
get his wish. Remember we talked about it early in the year where I asked the question. I was like, what happens if Darnold plays well, which he ended up doing, and you go into the next season, do you sit him on the bench behind a rookie quarterback, essentially?
I'm not gonna lie. As soon as he came into the league, I thought Minnesota was gonna start him regardless, but he got injured.
And then
So
no one
gotta,
expected Darnold to play the way he played.
yeah.
So
I wouldn't be surprised if they re-signed Danny Dimes, and if they think that they've fixed his problems in last year going into this offseason, it would not surprise me at all if Kevin O'Connell rolls out him as the week 1 starter. I know he's a free agent; they'd have to re-sign him, but I'm sure they could get him for cheap money.
for sure. Moving right along, though, we're going to talk about another trade that kind of wasn't surprising in the sense of him being moved because we knew that was inevitable given what happened during his stint this last season with the 49ers. But the team he went to was really, really surprising. Deebo Samuel was traded to the Washington Commanders for a 5th-round pick. Mike, Peso, I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on how this affects both the Commanders and the Niners. Mike, I know how you feel about Deebo, but considering how his play style and what he can bring that to Washington with Cliff Kingsbury at the helm, what would be your initial thoughts on how that offense will look now that he has Jaden Daniels?
The reason why I feel this way about Deebo is because I had him as a top 10 receiver going into last year, and just what I saw last year was just mind-boggling to me, especially with the Ayuk injury and just everything else going on. I know he had a good game against Miami towards the end of the year, but the production wasn't there the whole year other than the Thursday night game against Seattle, I believe it was. But I think he'll probably play around where Luke McCaffrey was playing for the Commanders in that offense. That would be my guess. I think if he can show the Deebo Samuel of not this past year, but the year before, I think it'll be a phenomenal trade. But I don't know at this point. I know I said in the group chat too that they could possibly shop around Austin Eckler because there's some teams that would take him as a passing back, and some teams that don't have running backs at all, like New England or Dallas. They could just add him to that running back room and make it better off the bat. But 49ers, I think I'm curious to see if they shop Ayuk because I heard some rumors on it maybe. So maybe they're going to just revamp the whole wide receiver room. But I think it has a very high upside for the Commanders with low risk. So it's a good deal on their part. And the 49ers, they already screwed themselves by making that deal with Ayuk. So let's see how they can recover for that and build around him.
For sure. Especially considering the fact that this draft is deep at running back, you can afford to possibly move off of Eckler and go get another running back like a Omarion Hampton from North Carolina, potentially if he's there. You could probably look at Neal from Kansas. So there's a plethora of running backs you can definitely get in the draft. Peso, well, before I get to Peso, Mike, how did you feel about the trade for Washington?
Oh yeah. No, as I said before, a low risk, high reward. I think. What did they get him for? A 5th-round pick, was it? I believe. Yeah. So, and 49ers, they have to cut money anyway. I know a lot of people are talking about going out and getting Nick Bosa, I believe it was.
Not Nick, Joey.
Joey Bosa, my bad.
And they're trying to go get Jonathan Allen as well.
I don't see it where you have so much depth at edge and defensive line in this draft. I just don't see a point in going out and signing a guy like that. Where there's just an overabundance of these guys through the first 3 rounds.
Do you feel like Deebo was worth a 5th-round pick, or should have been higher?
I think it's. I would personally myself, I would have risk traded a 4th, but I think it's a very fair trade. And it's worth the risk. But to be honest with you, if I'm San Francisco, I know they have to get money off the books, but that's just a guy I'd look to trade Ayuk before I traded Deebo, just because I know what he brings to the table, because it's not just in the passing game, it's in the running game too when he's healthy and fully functioning.
Peso, any thoughts on?
I ain't really got too much to say on it. One thing I could say is that I wish the home team would come up on some moves like this. But for Washington, it's definitely a come up. I think we're gonna see definitely an expansion to Deebo's game. I think he's definitely gonna flourish over there with Jaden McDaniels. is a better quarterback over there than what's over there in San Fran. So
You can definitely upgrade that quarterback. Defense, probably a downgrade, but to be alongside a true number one in Terry McLaurin, and you can be a guy that can also for Cliff Kingsbury. This is a match made in heaven because you have a total utility guy who can, like Mike said, can be at the outside. He can be best at the slot. You can use him in the run game, which Cliff likes doing a lot of wildcat type of college scheme fits that can work right up Deebo's alley. The run game should be vastly improved with adding Deebo because you got plays for him that you can run along with Daniels with his legs, and you still got Brian Robinson. So
I think I could if he stays healthy for them this year too. Like definitely you could see Washington in the same spot, if not further, if things go well there. I think he fits perfectly over there.
I'm not as high on him as I was going into this current past season, considering a lot of the key pieces on that defense is getting moved around. And I'm like, I know, like Mike said, this draft is deep with the interior for defense, but Jonathan Allen's a stud. You're moving off him because you don't want to pay him. You re-sign Bobby Wagner on a year deal. He's going to be a good presence for that locker room, but he's not the same Bobby Wagner. He's still going to get the job done when it comes to getting tackles and everything, but it's a clear decline due to age. De'Aaron Payne is still there, but I'm questioning what they're doing on the defense side of the ball. I feel like they're going to be I feel like they're catering towards more the offense to put up points and just the defense bend don't break. And I think that could be a tricky slope to go down, especially with that division going to be improving with the Eagles and the Cowboys. I don't know about the Giants just yet, but that's kind of my fear. But I agree, all in all, they could go back to the conference championship if everything goes accordingly. Any lasting comments on this before we move to the Eagles?
Well, according to the Giants, they don't think they're that far off from being a contender. From what I've heard, I don't know who the hell thinks that, but
shot o'clock. I don't know about that. But any last thoughts on this before you get to the Eagles?
No, I don't got nothing.
Fair enough. We're gonna just talk real quick. The Eagles have released Darius Slay, Pro Bowl, All-Pro corner for the Eagles. Just won a Super Bowl with them. He is now free agent. Kind of surprised me. But then again, looking at how much people they got to pay, which they just gave Zach Bonner 3-year extension, I think we're $51 million. They re-up Saquon. He's the highest paid running back in the league, I think ever, if I'm mistaken too. With a 2-year extension. So you already had AJ Brown tied up. You got everyone else on that offense tied up. Surprised they get rid of him. They must really key in. They might key in on Coop and Quinion as their two corners, even though Coop plays more safety this past season. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on Darius Slay getting released, and where can he end up next?
I don't know necessarily where it goes next, but I agree with you on what you said about Cooper DeJean. He came in as a cornerback, defensive back in the league, and they moved him over to safety last year because I believe they had an injury there midway through the season. So I like the move personally. I've never been a huge Darius Slay fan. I think he's a good player without a doubt, but on this roster, you have a Super Bowl roster. Guys are going to want more money. You have some holes to fill on, I believe, defensive line, because I believe Sweat's leaving, if I remember correctly. So if you can reallocate that money and slide over Cooper DeJean and get another piece for that secondary in this draft, I think it's a good move personally. But on where he's going next, I don't really know. But I know you said about the Saquon thing too, about making him the highest paid running back in the league. I think this deal came 1 year too early, because Saquon has a very bad injury history, and it could be because of that turf that he had at MetLife Stadium. But I would just give it another year to prove that he can stay healthy before giving him this deal. I know his contract was up after next year, so they're trying to get ahead of it to save money. But personally, I would have tried to work it out with him come November, December, just to make sure. If you can stay healthy for another season, that way you can get the money, and I know I got you for the future, because I've just seen it with so many guys that they have an injury history. For 1 year, they're healthy, and everyone's like, oh, this guy can stay healthy going forward, and then they just go out and get injured again the next year.
Oh, interesting. Peso?
So Mike brought it to a whole nother. We got into Saquon, so we go from Saquon. I agree with you, but I think he'll be fine as long as he manages it. And the thing with Saquon, as long as he hasn't had no serious injuries, it hasn't been nothing serious, so I think he'll be fine. I
Up
don't want.
in Philly at least.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. This is like the first year, like in New York. I mean, he had a couple of injuries, but it wasn't this consistent, as much as what we've seen recently with Philly. And I get that, but I think he'll be fine as long as he manages that well. As far as the Darius Slay move, I mean, what we going on the 12th or 13th year he's been in the
Something
league?
like that.
He's getting old, so of course he's looking for money. All that money they gave to Saquon, which was rightfully so. I mean, he damn near won them the Super Bowl. I'm not gonna say by himself, but he was a major contribution. So
He was the X factor.
Darius Slay make the list. But yeah, I agree. As far as where he may go, I'm not really too sure. But I know he could definitely help a lot of teams though. He got a couple more years on him, so
So I'm gonna throw out some teams that I'm thinking about. Baltimore.
That's just what came to my mind first too. They need
When I
help
first
in the
heard them get
secondary.
released, I was like Baltimore, especially if they can't get Jair Alexander from Green Bay, because that's been the biggest rumor that that they're trying to get him from Green Bay because him and Green Bay is just not seen eye to eye with the contracts. So if they can't get Jair Alexander and reunite him with Lamar, old Louisville teammates, you can go get Darius Slay, and he can be on the opposite end. Because you definitely need another corner, especially if you don't re-sign Marlon Humphrey. So I was thinking about him going to Baltimore.
what's a couple teams y'all think that he could end up on?
So
Washington.
the next team I was going to mention, Washington was another one. That was going to be my last team if he wants to stay in the division. Another team I'm thinking about in the NFC is going back to Detroit. Potentially going to Detroit. That could be a potential. Another sneaky team, if they had the funds for him, in the AFC, Buffalo.
Yeah, I agree with you on
I
Buffalo.
can see him in Buffalo. I think he'll fit well in Buffalo.
Yeah, some of the teams you said, I was gonna say Washington. I think if you go back to Detroit, that'll be nice. Nice reunion. But
And a sleeper team, because they just got rid of one of their guards. But a real sleeper team, they definitely can use him, considering I've been saying it all last year it was going to bite him in the ass, and it did in the Super Bowl, the Chiefs.
See, but in my mind, that's a lateral move because I know you say with them not signing L'Jarius Sneed, you're paying out that money anyway. At this point, that ship's come and gone. You got to draft a guy, you got to cheap a guy to go in it because you have.
I hear you.
Yeah, because you got an offensive line that you need to address too, especially with Joe Tooney now being gone. I don't think it was as big of a deal as people were making it after the Super Bowl, the offensive line, but now that he's gone, that's a big place to need too with that secondary. So I just seen they've already did that with Sneed because we don't know if it was the right move yet or not. We'll see in the upcoming years, but I think that would just be a lateral move money-wise. So they need to try to get someone younger and cheaper.
Fair enough. That's very, very solid point, especially because we don't know the exact. At least we don't know right now the exact money he's looking for in free agency. But if he's looking for more of a team friendly deal, then I think Kansas City could make it work, while all still trying to re-up on that offensive line. So yeah, that was just another team. Maybe even Denver. Put them alongside PS2.
They got a pretty solid secondary already.
They do. They really do. But I feel like Slay's at a point where he's trying to go to a contender. So, but all in all, we're gonna move right into the mock draft. What everyone's been waiting for. If you watch, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Or leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on where you think Darius Slay will end up now that he's a free agent. So, without further ado, we're gonna get into this draft. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do the draft order. It's not gonna be snake, so it's gonna be the regular order. Now, before I spin the wheel, here's how things work. You can trade if you would like, but you're not forced to trade. I have the mock draft simulator up. I'm going to share that in just a moment. When it's your pick, you can make the pick for that team that's up. You want to give like a little background on why this player should fit perfectly on this team, you can. Obviously, with the breaking news that we had to start the show with Gino being traded to Oakland. That kind of changes some things for some pieces. But all in all, that's pretty much the rules for the draft. They also were so good about the simulator website. They show what team has their needs. So if you're kind of stuck based on, let's say I had a person going at 4, but might take them at 2, and you're not really sure where to put this next piece at for this team, that helps you also. So I know Ty's not here in the moment, so whenever he does get here, he'll be picking last at the 4th position. But now we're going to start with the number 1 pick. In the first Grade A Pick 6 podcast.
Don't give me the first pick. I'll trade it right now.
No. That's fine. I picked the number 1 pick. All right, so I had the first pick.
Number 2 is the hardest pick, in my opinion, of these top few picks.
Depending on who you got number 1. But number 2 goes to Peso. And then Mike will be 3. And then when Ty just got here. So Ty will be picking 4th. So I'm putting in our private chat just in case if people forget the order. So I have the number 1 pick. Then it's Peso, Mike, and then Ty. So that's the order. We can revert back to our private chat. So if we ever get confused, what up, Ty? But
what up?
We about to get into this draft, man. I'm excited. Here we go. Sharing my screen.
Nobody want to trade picks? We're not talking trades already?
I ain't trading number 1 pick. I think this is a no-brainer for me, at least. Well, it might not be for some people. But I know for me, I know who I'm taking at number 1.
Depends on if they trade, too.
So we're going to get started.
Let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think Tennessee would trade that first pick?
Yes.
They should. They should.
So I got some time, and I'm going to quickly explain why I'm picking this player at number 1. Considering we all agree that this draft is not very deep at the quarterback position as far as overall top-end talent, in Tennessee, we know Will Levis is not the ideal quarterback for them, but he can still be of service for this next upcoming season. I'm not taking Travis Hunter either. I feel like they're going to try to use him on defense, and you already have a pretty solid defensive back system there. So because of that, I'm going to take the overall best player on the board outside of Travis. And I know he has a foot injury, but I'm taking Abdul Carter from Penn State. I think you need a pass rusher, and I think him being available at 1, and you have to rush him to play, you can have him nurse that injury, pro surgery. He'll be a great addition to that defensive line. Plus, in that division, you need someone to get off the quarterback to get your team the ball. So I think Abdul Carter will be a perfect pick for the number 1 pick for Tennessee. Peso, you are on the board. You have Cleveland. Whenever you're ready.
If I'm going with Cam Ward at number 2, because I think I think Tennessee should trade the pick, but I don't think they are. And I think I agree with you on that pick, Carter for the first pick. So the next person on the board, and I think Cleveland is ready for a reset anyway. And I'm pretty sure Cleveland is convinced that Cam Ward could bring them somewhere better than what they've been in the last couple of years. It's a good roster over there. They got running backs over there. So I think they'll be pretty solid. Cam Ward will go number 2, in my opinion, if Carter goes 1 for sure.
Fair enough. Mike, you had the 3rd pick.
Yeah, give me Kelvin Banks.
You said who?
Kelvin Banks. I think he's the best offensive lineman.
Wow. Well, he's not in the top. Okay, I got
a
shotgun already, Mike. Damn. That's a sleeper.
Just based on the whole thing with Will Campbell and the short arms, I don't think it'll be a big deal, but I think this is just more of a solid, safer pick overall and has more potential.
Mike, you're familiar with this site. How can I
think it's number go over to I think OT it's under.
Oh, I can just go here?
No, click on the other OT.
Shit, I had him on my list. I had him outside of the pack, probably the top 10 in my opinion.
So that means I was surprised. Okay, Keldon Banks.
I didn't have him going
3.
that high.
See, this is why we got this draft going, because you never know.
Let me
Mike,
just.
you're saying he's the best offensive tackle in the draft.
Yeah, in my opinion, first off, but I think there's so many teams that need help at the offensive line, and yeah, it's great for these guys to go out and get quarterbacks and wide receivers. But if you don't have that offensive line, what good are they going to do for you? And we already see the Bears trading for 2 picks. It's tough to go out and get these guys. So I just think Banks is the more safer pick than Campbell. So Giants and Patriots have the 2 worst lines in probably the NFL. So those are problems that they need to address before they address anything else.
We got a shocker. You heard it here first on the Pick 6 podcast. You got Keldon Banks going to the New York Giants at number 3. Ty, that leaves you with, I think, a no-brainer pick, which I thought would have been Mike's. But for the Patriots at number 4, who you got?
Yeah, if this was to go like that, no-brainer, they need to take Travis Hunter.
Yes, sir. I think he fits a void on either side of the ball for them. But I'll let you say more, Ty, if you have anything else you want to add.
I mean, personally, my personal mock draft, I had them actually taking Mason Graham. Just because I don't think the New England Patriots are going to take Travis Hunter, and he'll be on the board at his pick, at their pick. But I think personally, he wants to play both ways. They need a corner. They need a receiver. It's literally a no-brainer. Like this is a perfect piece. You know.
I agree.
You think they get him instead of Campbell?
Depends, because I think they go Graham. If all 3 of those guys are on the board, I think they go Graham.
I think
but if it's Hunter and Campbell on the board, Graham got picked. I can see them definitely going Campbell.
Fair enough. It's back to me. I have the Jaguars at number 5, and I think they go defense as well. And they're gonna go D-line, and they're gonna get the guy from Oregon in Derek Harmon. I think this would be a great pickup for them. He's one of the better defensive linemen in this year's draft.
Wait, who did you say?
Derek Harmon.
Okay.
From Oregon. I think he's a very sleeper pick at this draft. Now, I know I could have just took Mason Graham considering the fact that he's on the board, but I think they're going to – I'm picking based on what I think is going to happen also in real life. And I just don't think Mason's going to be there at 5. If he is there at 5, by all means, Jacksonville's taking Mason Graham. But because I believe he won't be there, I'm going to take Derek Harmon. Very, very great deep line, can get pressure to the quarterback, good in the run game. I think this helps them a lot in that division, considering you have Jonathan Taylor, Anthony Richardson, C.J. Stroud, Joe Mixon in the crew. So Harmon, I think, will be the best bet if Mason Graham's not there come the 5th pick. So, Peso, back to you, the Raiders.
Yeah, we was just talking about this earlier, and I'm glad I got this pick. This was the pick that McMillan, I had him going to Oakland, especially now that Geno's over there. I think that more justifies why he should go over there. I think him and Geno will be a pretty good tandem. I think McMillan is a pretty good quarterback. He's tall. You've seen the tape. Yeah, you've seen the tape. You know what he could bring to the table.
You got Ted McMillan going to the Raiders?
I think Geno being there is definitely really good for Oakland. That was a really good move.
Fair enough. Mike, you have the Jets. Be nice.
Give me the Boulder Bum, man. You already know.
Will Campbell?
The Boulder Bum? That's not Will Campbell.
Oh, my God. Here we go with the slander. You got Shador going to the Jets?
Yep. And that's not where I'd draft him. That's just where I think he's going to go.
I honestly had him going a lot higher.
I think he still goes
in the draft.
I think he still goes to the Raiders. I think they just have him sit behind Geno for a year, which wouldn't be a bad thing. Okay. Why do you think the Jets is going to take Shador, and if it's a good pick, Mike.
Well, of course, I don't think it's a good pick, but you
I
just
don't. I
look.
don't.
I
I don't
think that
see. I don't like this, Mike,
Aaron
because
Gold,
you're not
cutting out
going
here.
with who you want to pick. It's not what the team want to pick. What would you pick? Because I'm surprised you had
What did I
Shador
pick?
going this high.
Well, the thing is I'm telling you, I think I said it here a few months ago. I think he's either going to the Jets or Browns, and I stand beside that. Whether he goes to the Browns in their first round pick or their second round pick. If not, I'm telling you, I think I got him going to the Jets, and I stand by this. They are going to take him. He's not going to fall as low as people are saying.
And I think considering Aaron Glenn being there, Rodgers is out, I think he might shine in the Jets. I don't think it's going to happen in the first season. But I think if they build around, I think with Aaron Glenn being the man he is as a coach, I think he can do some wonders with that team. I don't like him on the Jets because they got to see my Patriots, but, well, I'm on strike still. Just waiting for good luck.
I was going to say, you get 2 free wins a year with them there.
Yeah, right. Have you seen my team, the Patriots? So, but Carolina, Ty, who you got?
I mean, seeing who's on the board, yeah.
Mason.
If Mason Graham ever drops to 8, it's obvious.
That's a steal.
But I do think they go offensive line with this pick.
Oh, so you don't have Mason Graham?
Yeah, but he's on. We're not gonna keep just letting him drop.
Okay.
Nah, didn't somebody pick Mason Graham?
Nah. No. Yeah. But yeah, that's all I gotta say for Carolina.
Okay. It's back to me. I got the Saints, and the Saints need help in the deep end. They're gonna take the best corner on the board, and that's Will Johnson out of Michigan. I believe they need to stop people scoring on the first drive of the game every game. So you get Will Johnson to help shore that up. They also need help on other positions, obviously, but I think the first need, considering the weapons you go against in that division, is the corner position. Plus, you got rid of Marshawn Lattimore last year. I think Will Johnson is a great pickup. He may slip. We have some doubts because he had the injury-riddled season this year, but the year prior when they won the national championship, he was probably the best corner in the league, in the country. So with that being said, I think Will Johnson's a perfect fit for the Saints. Peso, you got the Bears. And let's see if you pick who I think will go here, because it's been rumored all over mock boards he's probably going to go this at the lowest this pick. But
nah, my opinion is who's next on the board is Will Campbell. They need an offensive line. It's pretty obvious. That's the next person on. We seen what the hell happened with Chicago all last year. What was he, the most sacked quarterback? They need an offensive line. They might as well start there. So that was obvious.
I agree. Will Campbell's a perfect pickup here. Mike, who you have going at 11? Oh, Mike. Oh,
I think he left. Oh, he is right there.
Good. My bad. My connection was cutting out. But yeah, it's funny you say that though about the Bears. I personally have Ashton Genty going there. I think they're gonna try to recreate what they did with Gibbs, seeing they just got 2 offensive linemen for the trades. But for the 49ers, I'm gonna go with can you scroll down the all available? I just want to make sure I didn't miss any guys while I was off.
I wouldn't be mad if Genty goes to Chicago. I just definitely think they need an offensive line like that. It looked horrible there last year.
I agree, for sure.
But I wouldn't be mad if Genty goes there. I think that's a nice fit for him.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna go with Mikael Williams from Georgia.
Okay.
No. Hold on. Don't. Oops, that's the wrong one. Nope. Malachi Starks. I got the wrong Georgia guy on my draft.
Malachi Starks. Okay.
Yeah.
You got him going to San Fran. You want to say more?
Just you look at where they are. They got guys on the D line, linebacker, edge. I don't think they'll draft any of these wide receivers up that high. They got a tight end. the quarterbacks aren't really there. I just think you're going to go defensive back or safety. And with what's available on the board, I got him on my action, like what I think the teams will do. That's where I got him going. So seeing he's still out there, I'm going to take him.
I'm surprised he went that high. I think if they want to go defensive side, they probably go corner. They probably go get the young man from Texas. Because they pretty good at the safety spot. Well, I can't pronounce either one of their names. The names is a long name, but I think they're very, very good. They're really great on the stopping and run. Both little safeties they have that I'm referring to. So, but that's a solid pickup nonetheless. I mean, you can add more depth to the already great position. Ty, you got the Cowboys.
Sheesh.
Y'all making some good picks. This is where it get a little steep for me.
Yo, fact, honestly, yeah.
I did my homework.
I had someone drop into the Cowboys, but scroll down. I just want to see who's still available.
I got you. There's a couple names on here I ain't expect to drop.
I mean, nah. For some reason, I still feel like Cowboys go offensive line. So I'll go with Armand Membo.
I agree with this pick. I think he actually falls to the Cowboys at this pick. So I agree. They definitely need help on the O-line to give Dak some more time and protection, help bolster the run game that lacked a lot last season. So I agree with this pick. For me, I got the Dolphins. I mean, I think they need help on the offensive line. Mike would agree.
Dope.
But because these names is here, so I said before we went on air, I'm going to kind of play based on who's getting picked. And because he's still on the board, I think he's a very sleeper pick. But Jalon Walker's still on the board too, though. Ooh.
Think all the edges that they already have, though. They got Chubb, Robinson, Phillips.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go O-line. I'm gonna go with Walker. I mean, not Walker, Tyler Booker. That's what I meant. Tyler Booker from Alabama. I think this would be a perfect pickup for them. That help the O-line. He can play either left or right guard. You need to protect Tua. That's as much as I really got to say. So I think Tyler Booker will be the perfect pick for the Dolphins at 13. Peso, that's what you got to get in your bag. 14, the Colts.
Well, with whoever's left on the list, Gentry's up there. I'm not going with him there because
I think this is
what's left on the board. I mean, I'm not going to put Gentry in.
So I can go to different positions. If
Indiana, especially with Jonathan Taylor already being there.
So if there's a particular position you're looking for, I can click on it and it'll show more prospects.
Nah, just scroll down a little bit more.
And then the name above Tyler is Ashawn Genty. So
I can't see them pass on Tyler Warren if he's on the board personally.
I can see them passing on him.
Nah, I think
another position. I mean,
what's that defensive lineman in Texas A&M? Shamar.
Oh, Shamar Stewart.
Yeah.
You got him going there.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with you, my guy.
I mean, I just wouldn't put Gentry over there, especially everybody would probably think Gentry right now, especially that's watching the show. A lot of people, I honestly had Gentry going earlier than that. I really had him going to Dallas. I thought if he's there and he slides down to Dallas, I think Dallas might scoop him up. But yeah, I don't see with Jonathan Taylor already being there why they go for Gentry, especially the way this draft is going right now.
So, Mike, I agree. I think the Colts get a tight end. I don't think they take Tyler Warren, though. I think they take someone else.
Who,
I won't
Loveland?
say his name. I won't say
No,
his
my
name because
bad.
he hasn't been picked yet. But I don't know. I still think Shamar Stewart will help them a lot on that defense. They got Zaire Franklin. They got some great linebackers there. So
Shit, that's what they need. That's what they need there to contribute. They already set on
they have
on
the
the running
rookie they
back,
had last year, the DN that they
in
picked
my
up last
opinion.
year. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was really good last
Yeah.
year.
I know what you're talking about.
You just add into it. So I'm not mad at this pick at all. If they were to go defense, I'll probably look at them going corner, more so the edge, but not a bad pick at all either way. Mike, you got the Falcons.
So on mine, I had Michael Williams going to them, saying he'd stay in Georgia, but seeing Jelon Walker still on the board because he wasn't off on mine, I'm gonna have them take Jelon Walker.
Damn it, that was gonna be my pick. Cincinnati, had he been there still. Jelon Walker, again, ain't gotta say much. Obviously projected a top 10 pick. So if he falls to 15 to the Falcons, you're in luck, Falcons fans. So, but Arizona Cardinals on the clock, and Ty, the pick is on you.
There's a couple teams though I think that's coming up that Gentry could go to be honest with you. Especially now he's still on the board. The teams that's coming up.
Yeah, so I actually I actually had Michael Williams going to the Falcons. So seeing that
Y'all just
not
hurt my
going to
heart.
the Falcons. Yeah, he's going to Arizona.
Y'all hurt my heart. But that's okay because the other person I was thinking about taking earlier before I took the offensive lineman at Tyler Booker was Mr. Mike Green himself. So because he's still on the board, and we all know Cincinnati desperately needs help on defense, Mike Green, the edge rusher, will be perfect, especially considering you have Trey Hendrickson on the market, potentially being moved because you don't want to pay him because, you know, Mike says it all the time, that Cincinnati owner is cheaper than Robert Kraft, and that's saying a lot in Mike's eyes. So with that being said, I think they desperately take an edge rusher, and I think he's one of the best edge rushers in this draft. He's a very sleeper coming out of Marshall this year, so I think that's the pick Cincinnati goes with. Peso, you have Seattle.
It changes everything now with the trade.
It definitely does because the thing is, if Gino was there too, I would have definitely loved to have Gentry over there, but I'm not going to put him over there with no situation that's
Are
going
we
on.
getting our third quarterback off the board?
Who are we talking about?
Are we getting our third quarterback off the board at 18? We got all these guys that Mike said were better than Shador.
I agree that some of them are, but
That's why I'm surprised, honestly, Mike had him earlier. I thought Mike was going to let him fall. That's why I asked. It's not about who you think the team's going to pick. It's where you think that player's going to go. You know you're not going to have Shador that high. But we're not going to get into that, Mike.
Nah, I know. I personally, I had him drafting no line because I got two drafts here. What I would do in the actual, and I've had him on the, I've had him going there for months now. So I'm gonna, especially with the trade that just happened, I'm gonna stay behind it. I could see Cleveland even drafting him at number 2 overall. I think the everything that they're saying about his personality right now, I don't know how true that is. I just evaluate him on the play on the field, man. So we'll see what happens.
I don't know. It sounded from before that it didn't seem like you had Shador going first round. So that's why I was surprised. You had that pick too. I was like, okay. But I hear it.
Who you got going here to Seattle now, Peso?
I'm going to go James Pierce.
Wow. I'm thinking Tyler Warren would have been off the board at that pick at least if we ain't going quarterback.
Yeah,
That's a solid pick.
But who's going to throw to him? Gino's gone.
You ain't got JSN ain't got nobody
Sam Howell
either. You might also beef up the weapons, but that's a good pick. James Pierce is a great pick. I don't expect him dropping that low in the draft either. Mike, you got Tampa Bay.
Yeah, so before the trade, I had Buka going to Seattle, but I don't see them getting another wide receiver now. But for Tampa, I actually had James Pierce Jr. going there myself, so I'm gonna have to reevaluate here. Let's see. I was gonna say go down a little bit on this list. I want to see who's available still.
There's a lot of things you could do over there with Tampa Bay.
I think it's an easy pick.
I'm gonna go with Emeka Ibuka, seeing Chris Godwin might not be
Damn
there
it!
anymore.
Sorry, had to get that out because I was taking him at 21. I think he goes to Pittsburgh on my draft board. Damn. All right. Hopefully Ty takes who I want to go here, but who I believe will go here. But Ty's on you. You got Denver. I think this is a no-brainer considering these guys are still on the board.
But to be honest, if these two were still to be on the board with the Denver, like they can't go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They need both. Personally, I think Gentry's going to the Bears. So I do think Tyler Warren slips a little and does end up in Denver.
I actually think Sean, if he slips, he's going to Denver and Sean Payne tries to recreate that magic with Genty and Bo Nix, and then you have a run game like that. Ooh, Cortland Sutton, those guys, I like that. Pittsburgh, I'm obviously going to take Sean Genty here. I think this will be he would not fall this far in the draft. More importantly, if he does, he ends up going to Pittsburgh. That's a steal because you have your legit RB1 with tied up with Warren at the back end, and you can move off of Najee Harris. I love this pickup. He can catch the ball out the backfield as well. He gives you what Jalen Warren gives you, but he get home run speed. So he's the best running back, I believe, in the draft. I believe if he ends up in Pittsburgh, it's a home run pick for them. Peso, you got the Chargers. I almost said the Clippers, but you got the Chargers.
Nah, I'm going to go with the next pick that's on the board.
Josh Simmons.
Yeah, I mean, it only makes sense.
Yeah, they do need some more help on the O-line, but I definitely probably want receiver. Mike, you got Green Bay.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with the assumption that Alexander does not get traded.
Mm-hmm. I know where you're going with this.
Yep. So give me a wide receiver, and I'll take Luther Burden, seeing he does not get traded. But if he did get traded, I could see Barron getting drafted there.
Oh, you took Luther Burden to Green Bay. I thought you was going somewhere else with this pick. Okay, never mind. All right, fair enough. Ty, you have the Vikings on the board.
Let me see.
I got Houston next. Okay.
I'm going to scroll down a little. Let me see. We'll go Kenneth Grant.
Kenneth Grant. Perfect. Going to Minnesota. I have Houston. I'm taking Matthew Golden from Texas here. I think he's the perfect pickup for what the Texans need, considering all the injuries they had at wide receiver. It sucks because I think Matthew probably ends up on the Rams, on Ty's Rams, but I think this is a solid pickup for Houston. Peso, it is back to you.
Scroll down a little bit.
My eye. God damn.
You can scroll back up for me. Probably give me Barron at 22, especially for the Rams.
Thank you. Okay. Ooh. Definitely even
sense.
add the richer get richer on that defense.
Just add more to that defense.
But it's something
right thing to do.
I was hoping he would have fell to Baltimore. But Mike, Ravens, it's on you.
Let me look under the corners section real quick.
Hoo-wee. That's a name I like on this one.
Go back to you can go back to the all. I'm not gonna take him that high personally. Go back, take the kid from South Carolina there. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Imani Ward. Oh, I like this pickup. That's a great pickup because he's a physical safety, can play the run, can play. You can match him up on tight ends because he's size. This would be good going against some of the tight ends like the Kelseys of the world. So it's a great pickup for Baltimore. Ty, you got Detroit.
He's off the screen. I don't know if he's backstage or not.
Oh, there you go, Ty. You have Detroit.
Yeah, I got Walter Nolan on the Detroit. Yep.
Fair enough. This is my last pick for the draft. I have the Commanders, and I'm going DB. And I think Siobhan Revel Jr. from East Carolina is the perfect fit for the Commanders. Just adding more depth to that D-line. I mean, that DB side of the ball. I know they're moving off Jonathan Allen, but I think he'll just be a great fit overall for that team. Peso, you have the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to scroll down so you can see. We got our first quarterback on the board.
Way too high in my opinion still, but
who you got, Peso? If Peso's not there, I'll let you go, Mike.
My fault. What pick we on?
Buffalo
Bills.
Slide up for me. Damn, Buffalo? Interesting. Do they go Campbell?
Sean McDermott and Jihad sound like a match made in heaven.
Nah, I think I'll go Campbell.
Linebacker for Alabama going to Buffalo. Mike, you got Kansas City.
Okay. I don't know if this.
They can go with this.
Yeah, I got to see who's on the board still. So go in interior line first.
Well, the number one guy right here.
No, I'm not going with
I had him going higher in the draft, to be honest.
Okay, now go to offensive tackle first. I just want to see who's still available there because this guy who I got still is on the board. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my pick that I got here. Give me Donovan Jackson under interior line.
It's a great pickup. In the end off the first round of the first ever pick six mock draft, we have Ty with the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me go back to all. Who you got?
I think they take an edge here. Go to the edge. Yep, right here.
Nick Skirton?
Nah, let's get a Boston College Eagle drafted in the first round.
Okay, you got Donovan going.
I feel that one.
An eagle to the Eagles.
Yep.
I like BC though. I'm looking forward to them next year though. They got
some glaring names. I'm just gonna go to the last pick
and that'll be a good pick with Bill O'Brien over there too.
Bill O'Brien's still in Boston College though.
Well, coming from Bill O'Brien.
Oh yeah.
That defense, that mentality.
I actually had Nick Skirton from Texas A&M going to the Eagles. If this was to be the case, him and Carson Loveland, the tight end from Michigan, would be the two glaring names, and the tackle from I think he goes to South Dakota, North Dakota State. That was up there. Those would be the three glaring names that I was surprised that would not be picked in the first round. But all else was a great draft. This is it. You have two Donovans going at the end of the first round. Shout out to those guys. Obviously, we got some good picks on for the contending teams, but I think this is a very deep draft, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think outside of the first round, maybe halfway through the second, is where it kind of stops for the offensive tackles. But all in all, this is a very deep draft. But the biggest surprise.
I'm surprised we didn't make no trades, no nothing.
Yeah, I don't.
Nobody traded no picks.
I will say, if I do have a trade, it'll probably have been Cleveland making a trade, considering they're trying to move off of Myles Garrett. But again, I don't see that happening, depending on who they're trading with.
If you guys had a couple of players that got left off the list that you could name out right now, who would it be? That was on y'all list that didn't make ours.
Oh, well, I mentioned two already. Nick Skirden from Texas A&M. I thought he'd went to the Eagles. Greg Zabel, the tackle I was talking about. I think I had him going to Seattle at 18, and I actually had Colston Loveland, the tight end, going to the Colts at 14. I had him, I think, coming off the board before Tyler Warren.
Scroll down to the other, the last couple of picks we made.
Really?
Yeah, I had Tyler Warren. And the reason why I believe that before I scroll down, Peso, is because I had Tyler Warren dropping because of what other teams are going to do. I think the Bengals are going to get a steal and get Tyler Warren at 17. But yeah. So the biggest trade difference here was Kelvin Banks going 3. I don't think most people had him in the top 3, but that'll be an interesting pick. If this goes the way playing, that means I get my boy Travis in New England, so I got a reason to go to a Patriots game.
I got a question for you guys when I was doing this. This is not the actual one, but the what I'd do personally. Do you see a world where Travis falls out of the top 10 picks? Because first off, I don't see him as Travis if he falls out of the top 10 picks. I could, because personally, not in my actual, but the what I'd do, I had him fall down to 11 at the 49ers, but that's under the assumption he's a wide receiver. Yeah,
I don't think he's gonna fall down that low. He's not.
They must be smoking. They must be on that catnip.
I can see where you're coming from, Mike.
Yeah,
I agree with you, Mike. But I'm saying for the owners, y'all on that catnip. Ain't no way hell he should be dropping to 11.
It's because of the versatility, though. He's getting drafted for his versatility, not that he's like that guy at either position. So I don't see him playing both sides of the ball in the NFL. And personally, I think he's going to be a wide receiver. I don't think he's going to be a defensive back. Not saying that he can't play it. I just think I don't see him playing both sides, and that's the side he's going to go to. So I'm just wondering if you guys see him falling out of the top, if there's even a possibility of it, because I could see it happen. I'm not saying it's going to, but it's just something that I could see possibly happening.
I don't think he falls at the top 10. Unless there's some trades going on.
Yeah, I just don't think that many teams is gonna pass by Travis Hunter. I mean, I don't see that happening.
I think Ted McMillan from Arizona might fall to top 10. I think he has a chance. I think just where everyone's team needs are. Like with the Raiders making the trade they picked, I mean they did. I don't see them taking a wide receiver. I think because they gave the money to Max, they got Geno. I think they still take Shador to have him sit potentially if he's there. Or I think they go D-line. I think they'll get another D-line to pair up with Max or lineman.
They got Christian Wilkins coming back next year too, I think. He was injured most of the year this year.
So, but this is the draft right here, you guys. And that is going to conclude today's episode. If you made this far into the show, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. We're at 2 subs away from 200 subscribers. Please turn that noty bell on. As I mentioned earlier, today in the show, we have a star-studded lineup for the Grade A show this weekend. We have the Pick 6 right now. Tomorrow we have the Grade A show with basketball at 12:15. And then Sunday we are back with Grade A wrestling for another great episode for one of the biggest heel turns that potentially happened in the WWE history. So, stay tuned. Hope you guys have a blessing, warm Friday night and weekend. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Peace.
Grade A.